Welcome to the Board of Works meeting. Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we please do the roll call?
Here.
Member Lewis. Here.
Member Farkas.
Here.
Member Valletta.
Here.
Member Bonner.
Here.
All present.
Great. And then, let's see, did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? And do we have a approval?
Mayor, I found one change to be made on the minutes. When it came to the claims, Member Maletta made the motion, and the minutes say that Member Maletta seconded the motion, and it's probably Member Collins who seconded that motion.
I think I remember it that way, too. So do we have a motion to make that amendment? We can make an amendment, Ed, that also passes the minutes, right?
With that amendment?
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the amendment of changing the motion to the correct member name.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that passes. I'm sorry, I lost my not train of thought, but I lost the spot. I'm going to glance over at Frank real quick. Realized I was actually looking at a different agenda, but it worked out pretty well for the first two things. All right, so our first order of new business is the opening of bids for the CCMG street paving and repair project.
Good morning. Our first bid is from Reith Riley Construction Company, and they are out of Gary, Indiana. And their total for the project is $2,368,989.09. Let me say that again, $2,368,989.09. Our second bid is from Milestone Contractors out of Griffith, Indiana. And their total is $2,872,750.07. $2,872,750.07. The department would recommend that these bids be taken under advisement and anticipate an award at the next Board of Works meeting.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to take the bids under advisement to be approved at the next Board of Works meeting.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, we have opening bids for purchase of new squad cars.
All right, I was trying to take notes because I haven't done one of these before, so. All right, first one we have is from Fletcher Dodge out of Franklin, Indiana. So the total for 8 Dodge Durangos from them is $322,680. And that's eight Durangos at $322,680. And they're saying they currently have 4 Durangos in stock, ready for immediate delivery, and they have placed orders to accommodate the remaining 4 units for 2024. And they said they should be available during the time period that we have requested, but there's no more further information on that, so. Apparently, I don't know how to open an envelope.
We should probably have like a letter opener. We just can't
Yeah.
keep it under
Yeah, I
there.
think
It's probably, oh, we do have a letter opener. Well, Sandy has a letter opener.
See, I didn't take as good of notes. I wasn't prepared here. Okay, the second one is from LaPorte, Chrysler Dodge out of LaPorte. And for the 8 Durangos, their price is $323,746. $323,746. Now theirs does say that they have all 8 in stock, and delivery would be available as soon as payment was made. So obviously the Fletcher is, I'd have to do the math there, about $1,000 cheaper. However, I mean, it'd be our preference, I guess, I don't know if preference is the right term, but based on the fact that all 8 vehicles are ready to go, it'd probably be more beneficial for us to go with LaPorte, obviously, since those 8 are ready, but, so I'm not sure.
Ed, is that a factor that you think is appropriate for us to consider? The fact that in one case we have 4 and then 4 on order versus in another case we have 8 there?
I think it is a proper factor if the chief just could articulate the present and maybe urgent need for those vehicles to be put in use.
Absolutely. So we'll go back in time a little bit. I think it was December when I first had a meeting with then Mayor-elect Bonta and told him we were in serious need of vehicles, and at that time we didn't have a plan put in place for the purchase. So best course of action is that you have this money set aside and you start ordering vehicles in November. So obviously we're way beyond the point in time there. We've had several vehicles that have been wrecked this year, and we've talked about that, the fact that, we get an insurance payment back when it's not our fault, or we're not at fault with those. However, that doesn't purchase us a new vehicle. You know, you can't go out and buy a used 2020 squad car or whatever. So every time a car is totaled, we end up basically just losing a car out of the fleet. So I would say currently our fleet status is not great. Is that the best terms there, Captain Hughes? So we're jockeying around, moving people around. Anytime a car goes down right now that needs, you know, a service or anything like that, you know, we've got issues. We've got a couple people in standbys right now. So yes, I would say that the immediacy is a big factor for us. If we could get these vehicles rolling right away, get them upfitted and out on the road as soon as possible, it would be a huge, huge impact for us. And I would say, you can never predict the future, but I would say there's probably a cost savings most likely to the city on the backside, because we won't be putting these cars that probably need to be coming out of service that are now becoming money pits, for lack of a better term, would start being replaced, so we wouldn't have to be getting nickel and dimed there, so.
I mean, I think as far as the $1,000 go, if one of those 4 cars that we don't get delivered has the smallest problem, it's going to be $1,000. So I kind of agree with the chief as far as the immediacy seems to be worth $1,000.
I agree too. My only question is, in the bid solicitation that you put out there, did you put anything in there about the need for urgency or when you want them delivered? Because I think that, Ed, if I'm not mistaken, that might make a difference.
It certainly would help support the idea of an alternate award.
Yeah, so we put in there a certain time frame. I don't have it in front of me.
42 days, I think is what it was.
42 days.
From the opening of the bid.
Okay, so Captain Hughes, I think, was one to put most of it together. So 42 days. So as I said, the one says, Fletcher says they have 4 Durangos in stock, ready for immediate delivery. And then their wording is, also placed orders to accommodate the remaining 4 units. These units should be available 45 to 60 days after purchase order is received by Chrysler. I guess I would need to ask some more questions on, you know, when Chrysler received those those orders from the dealership, and then I think the other factor is should be available, so they're kind of contingent on how fast they make the cars. So again, on the urgency side, if the money is negligible, I mean, we can have the 8 cars today rather than 4 and then 4 somewhere down the line. But again, that's obviously not our decision to make here, but.
Could we award the bid contingent upon attorney review, just to
Yeah.
make sure we're doing everything right?
I would be comfortable with that motion, as well as allowing the Board of Public Works to review the bid package as well, to the extent that they wish to. Yeah.
Something I think is good to know, and I mean, public safety is always worth it. You know, we had 8 cars available, or based on the way that I know I'm not supposed to call it an equipment bond, but the equipment bond was set up. I was anticipating that this would be closer to, well, it is pretty close, but closer to $400,000. So in terms of the money saved, we're already looking at about $77,000 less than kind of what I braced myself for when we opened those bids. I'm seeing Liz smiling too as I'm saying it. So even spending $1,000 more, I mean, we're actually saving about $77,000 compared to what we braced for, I guess is the way to say it. But I would be also comfortable with the approval contingent on the legal review, and I think the chief I think you're pretty used to working with Ed now.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say we will be coming to you for money for the upfitting too, so that'll be
I had
on
a
top of
feeling,
the cars.
yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, but the actual putting the lights in and things that's a separate, but it's not exorbitant compared to the cost of the vehicles, so. I don't have it in front of me. I don't want to throw out some, yeah, I think I'm being recorded. I don't want to throw out some number and be held to that.
On that note, is there an official motion out there?
I'll make a motion to,
If I could make one comment. I think the distinguishing factor, as Chief pointed out, is the delivery and the availability of the vehicles being immediate, which was part of the advertisement process. The assumption that it would be available and delivery, and between the two, I think it would be conforming to the law to award it to LaPorte, subject to my review.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion to award the bid to LaPorte Chrysler Dodge under contingent upon the attorney's review.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chief. Oh, please remember to give, oh, there you go. Sandy, her letter opener back. Those are those kinds of things where if you forget, like that'll be. All right, so up next, you guys, I believe, have all been handed the proposed city drug and alcohol policy. This is something that HR has been working on for a good while. I've been involved with that. Lynn, do you want to come up and speak a bit? Main thing I would say is that we had a great meeting with the union recently. That meeting was unfortunately cut short just by a phone call, and so sometimes that happens. You're in a meeting and something else comes up, but we're going to be having a follow-up meeting next week to go over this, just make sure that all T's are crossed, I's are dotted. I was wondering if we've got a volunteer from this board who might want to join me for that meeting. I had a feeling. Okay. If somebody was interested in volunteering to come to that meeting as well, I'd just like to have another board member. I think it'd be great to have somebody else participate on that before we do our final review.
Do you have the exact time and date?
It would be we're getting it scheduled with them, but it would be during like the business hours, so sometime probably around possibly as early as 9, possibly as late as maybe 11 o'clock.
Okay, if you get the date, the actual day, I'm more than likely to make it.
That'd be great. I'd be happy to invite you, as long as that's okay with the rest of the board. Sounds good. Go ahead, Lynn.
Thank you. And as so you know, I was prepared to present this today as a final document, and as the mayor said, we've had 2 meetings with the union, and they wanted to take some time to review. We've made a couple tweaks, minor tweaks, based on their recommendations, but there were some federal changes that were made for DOT regs, and we really wanted to put a policy in place that doesn't leave a lot of open subjective, language. We want a clear goalpost for employees to be able to use. This is something that a lot of it comes right out of the DOT regs. I've said before, and you'll probably hear me say it again as an HR professional, if we ever have to discipline an employee and they're surprised, then we haven't done our job. So I really wanted to put something into play that protects the city, protects the community. It's a safety measure, but it also gives the employee clear path forward. So if this, then that. So there's a reasonable suspicion that's addressed in here, post-accident, DOT regs, and again, most of the language is right out of the regulations. So a lot of it is non-negotiable, but again, we wanted to give the union some opportunity to come back, make recommendations. So while I was prepared to present it and ask for your approval today, I think we're going to wait until the 28th to be able to get the union to make that final approval. So if you have any questions, be
I would
happy
just
to-
note something that's unique, well, maybe not unique about Portage, but, it's something that we take a lot of pride in, is that we do test everybody, and once this policy goes through, even I will get, tested, because a drug-free workplace has to include the boss. I mean, it's just that simple. So that's also, I think, not exactly a challenge, but it's something that we got to make sure that the policy follows the federal law, but then also makes room to go beyond the federal law in terms of what's we're required to do testing-wise.
Right.
And I think that an excellent job has been done with getting this prepared, so I just want to make you guys aware, had some time to review it, and if you got any questions, please feel free to forward that to Lynn. Feel free to ask me too, but Lynn is the true expert here.
Yeah. While it was written according to DOT regs, as the mayor said, we want to execute it consistently across all of our employees. So every employee in the city, including myself, will be part of this random pool. Okay, any questions?
Just to be clear, this is post-employment, this is not a pre-employment screening? Is that included in
It
this?
addresses pre-employment as well. So currently, the city has a pre-employment drug policy that they execute. The prospective candidate pays for the drug testing policy. This has some minor changes to say that if an employee passes the drug test and becomes employed, then the city will reimburse them for that drug test, which I feel if we're going to require it, we should pay for it. But it also has language in here to say that if somebody has a positive drug test pre-employment, then they are excluded from reapplying for a position for 60 days. So it takes them out of the window, but then they can come back and apply again, and as long as they can pass the drug test. So it's really again, it's written in such a way that it protects the city, but it also gives leverage to the employee, and as far as I'm concerned, just puts us right down DOT regs.
Well, we
Great
haven't had a
question.
chance to read this yet.
Yes.
But right on the first page, something just struck me. We're saying it's okay for people to legally consume alcohol while doing city business and driving a city vehicle?
Not while driving.
Because it says, "City recognizes alcohol may be consumed legally and does not prohibit the legal use of alcohol when an employee is not at work or conducting city
So
business
we
or
Right.
driving a city-owned vehicle."
So, yeah, so that might, maybe an extra word is there to clarify, but as I read that, that's saying that you will not be punished for when you're off work drinking alcohol or, what have you.
But it says, "or conducting city business or driving a city vehicle."
Show me the paragraph one more time.
It's this one right here. So I think it's
See,
got to be
oh,
worded
if you
wrong.
don't, let me see.
I know, we kind of split some hairs over
Let-
writing this, so.
Let me see here. The city
It may be
recognizes,
consumed.
may be consumed legally.
We don't
and
prohibit that.
Does not
as long as they're
prohibit
not driving a
the
vehicle.
legal use of alcohol when an employee is not at work or conducting city business or driving. So the key word is the word not. So we probably just need the word not after each, but I believe the intention of the or is to say when you're not doing each of those things. When you're not conducting city business or not driving a city-operated vehicle. Just add the word not so that nobody ever, well, if you see it, my hope is that nobody ever gets, my hope is that going forward, we don't have to catch anybody and nobody gets in trouble. But if you're able to make that claim, we'll add the word not in front of each of those. Sounds
And maybe
good.
Attorney Graham, I don't know if you've got, if we've got some particular language you want to change, or,
I will be happy to look at it
Okay.
in detail.
okay. All right. Anyway, thank you. Any other questions?
I think we're good. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
So we've got the.
So with respect to that item, is that going to be continued for consideration until the May 28th?
I think if we want to do a formal vote, make sure it's on the agenda. We want to, I see, formally continue this to the next meeting.
That's what I would recommend.
Sure thing. We have a motion to continue this to our next meeting on May 28th.
I make a motion to continue the discussion of city drug and alcohol policy to be moved to the next BOW meeting on May 28th. Is it 28th?
28th.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We have the Comcast solicitor's permit.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be saying here. I applied for a permit. We recently expanded into your area. We want to be able to door knock it. I submitted everything for that. It's for 6 months currently. My boss asked if we could extend it to a year instead, because I said that was an option. Is there anything else needed, or?
Do you live here in Portage?
No, I live in Northlake, Illinois right now.
Would you be the one who would be
Yes,
doing the solicitation?
yes.
Has the police department run a background check? I do have to kind of laugh, though. I don't think you're new to Portage. Comcast.
Oh,
We're expanding.
oh,
There's
oh,
certain areas that we don't cover, and so we're servicing more homes, but it's been a while since COVID that we haven't been out door knocking, so we want an opportunity to offer our services.
I'll make a motion, we approve the solicitor's permit for 6 months for Comcast Xfinity.
Do we have, go ahead.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Sure thing. Liz, can we do a roll call vote?
Member Collins,
Yes.
Yes.
No.
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 Okay.
All right, next up. Sorry, just pulling it up a second. Sharing a computer in case you can't tell. Oh, I got it. All right, next up, we have the Cinco de Mayo family event. Is anybody here from the Cinco de Mayo family event? I guess not. Do we want to have, would anybody want to give a motion to continue this to the next meeting, to give them a chance? That's usually been our policy.
I'll make a motion that we just move the Cinco de Mayo family event request till next meeting.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have the PEP Memorial Day program.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Yes, I wasn't sure if I needed permission from Board of Works for this event. This is the first time I've organized this one. We've had it for many, many years, but it is going to take place on Monday, May 27th at noon at Founders Square. We partner with the Post, American Legion Post 260, and we're also including survivors this year. They are Survivor Outreach Services. They're reaching out to survivor families to invite them to come to the event as well. We have a full program. We have a few speakers. We have the ROTC do 21 gun salute, they do a presentation of the wreath. We have a roll call. We do taps. And then the Legion Auxiliary hosts a hot dog and chip luncheon right after that, all on the same grounds. I don't see anything with closing any roads. I think we wanted to kind of respect the fire department's one entrance so that we don't have people parking there on that road, so that they have access in and out. So I was looking to work with street department and see if there's anything, if we need to put any barricades or anything there. But we will need that side for a drop-off for the choir to come and some of the other speakers. So, any questions for me?
Make a motion that we approve the program for Memorial Day, contingent upon just following up the street department if you need any streets blocked off.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Portage Parks Bacon Festival.
So, Bacon Fest, Saturday, September 14th at Founders, same as past years. I would like to close off Harding, from the Bay to Main Street, right there for food trucks. We're going to have a beer garden, full beer garden for this. Parks will be responsible for the beer garden. Any questions or?
So I've got one is for Liz. Not that put you on the spot with this, but there have been some changes. I don't even want to say proposed. I think they have to happen when it comes to how we do, what do you call it, like concessions and money in that. I've seen some of the emails going between Michelle, Parks, Marina. Could you kind of explain what's going on? I just want to make sure that that'll be utilized for the Bacon Fest when it comes to how people are paying for things, if there are purchases going to the city there.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we're going to we're trying to go to pay universal throughout the city. And we are, I think Michelle possible. We are having a meeting on the 21st, Austin, to go over everything, to make sure it's a smooth transition, that PayGov can do everything that, because we have 3 different charge cards right now, or ways people can pay through charging, through the vendors, or the people who's purchasing can pay, and we want to try to make it universal. So it might take effect by the time the event's happening, so make you aware of it.
Are you speaking of vendor fees that vendors pay, or are you talking like,
I'm thinking like usually at like Bacon Fest, like there's like shirts for sale. Like I know last year I went and bought my Bacon Fest shirt, and I'm pretty sure I paid in cash at the time. But with the new policy being implemented, I just want to make sure that anything being purchased through the park department is being handled that way. But if we've got the meeting on the 21st, we can go over that, you know, there.
Basically, yes, for merchant's fees. Not, we're trying to get away from paying the merchant fees and leave the person doing the purchasing paying fees.
And my second question has to do with the beer garden. I'm very excited about the park running a beer garden, but making sure you guys have gotten all your stuff in. I know that you guys have a license already, but I know with beer gardens, Andy could probably back me up on this, there are rules about making sure you have things like tickets rather than direct purchases, like all that'll be set up correctly, right? Great.
And licensed bartenders.
yes, of course. Of course, of course.
All right, well, I'm excited about it, so do we have a motion on Bacon Fest?
I make a motion to approve the Bacon Fest on September 14th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and then you can stay there, I think, because up next we've got the Portage Parks Harvest Festival.
Yes. So that one, it's a little bit shorter of an event. It's not like Bacon Fest. It's 11 to 7. A lot of crafters, pony rides, bounce houses. So it's a little bit more family. No beer garden for this. Live music all day. Like Adam Harding Road closed again from the bay to the main street for crafters and food trucks and things.
Are there any questions? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special event request for Harvest Festival in Pounder Square.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Portage High School Wrestling Club Tag Days. Yeah, if you like. I had a feeling you might be the guy just because of the shirt, but I didn't want to just assume, you know?
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Yeah, so I think we're putting days for June 1st and June 22nd to raise money for athletes. We had 7 Portage athletes make the Team Indiana national team for this summer to go compete in Fargo, North Dakota. So we're using those days to help the families with the cost of sending their student athletes to go represent Indiana on the national stage, competing against 48 other states and Puerto Rico this summer.
Have you guys done a tag day before?
Last year, we did one.
So you're aware of the rules and the policies of?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve the tag day permit for the Portage High School Wrestling Club for June 21st and June 22nd.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. Randy, do we have any bulk item appeals?
No, sir. Thank you.
Great. All right, so did everybody have a chance to take a look at the claims, and were there any questions pertaining to them?
I'll make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $1,000,000, $13,028.14.
A second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other business deemed proper to come before this board? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? Oh.
There's one thing, isn't there?
Oh, was that,
Grant of easement?
oh, Tom, did you want to come up and speak about that? I didn't realize that was up for this.
I'm sure.
That was city council.
Is it the city council or is it that? I got it for this one.
The grant of easement contains a signature of the Board of Works. And that's why it was suggested that it be addressed by this body. And Tom, if you would give a little background on the easement.
I apologize for the confusion, guys. Seems like you were a little surprised too, Tom, so glad you're here.
So this is associated with the Bauer Farm subdivision, and there's a drainage issue on somebody's property. They're actually a county property owner, but it's right next to Bauer Farms, and there's some excessive drainage in their yard. So they've granted us an easement that's going to go through their yard, and Bauer Farms is paying to put a pipe in to drain into Bauer Farms' drain system. So that's what this is for. It's not going to cost us anything. It's being covered by Bauer Farms. So we've got some issues that we're dealing with over there, and this is one of the remedies to one of the issues.
Tom, the easement is also, I believe, I don't know if long is the right word, but it's capable of going further if in the future somebody else wanted to look into it.
It cuts through the middle, east and west of Govert's property, so that in the future, we could possibly get into the other properties as well to maybe rectify any issues over there, so. So that is, I won't bore you with the description of easement or any of that fun stuff. but-
Can I
This is
do that?
basically the property
Can I do
owner.
that, Tom?
Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, the very electric description contained in this two-page document describes the rights that the Goverts are granting to the city in order to allow them to enter the property for purposes of adding sewer, storm sewer facilities to clear up the problem. So the document was based upon a prior version that was used by the city attorney. So I did very little other than to change some names and dates, and you can be assured that at least you have the legal right to help alleviate the problem that developed through the activities of this developer.
Yeah, we also took out the verbiage with utilities and some other things that are in standard easement language, and it's just for drain pipe, so.
That was at the request of the.
Mr. Govert.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Not that we're planning on putting a rope through his backyard ever in
Or
the future.
sidewalk or-
Yeah.
Tom, it bears the signatures of 3 board members, is that correct? I believe the mayor and member Miletta, and then,
Yeah, Mayor, Andy Miletta, Jamie Lewis.
Is there a particular reason why we would be the 3 picked?
your number.
I suppose me as mayor
Your number
makes sense.
came up, I don't know. Go buy a lottery ticket. No, nothing magical about that. Whoever would like to volunteer next time.
Got it. But that doesn't, well, anyway, yeah, I think we're good then. So are there any other questions? And again, I appreciate your guys' patience. I didn't realize that this was a Board of Works matter, but I mean that with no offense, just that, you know, I could just say that a lot went into making sure that this problem got resolved, and
Yeah.
the developer, the planning department, and Mr. Govert, the neighbor, they were all pretty quick at getting this resolved. I'd also add, we had like the whole department, I think, at his backyard at one point.
Yes.
That was quite a cool, interesting day.
Yes, it was.
So we need a motion to approve the grant?
Yes.
Make a motion, we grant the approval of the easement between Mr. Govert and, what was the company's name?
Bauer Firms.
Bauer Farms.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
So now I'll ask, is there any other matters deemed proper to be brought before this board? And if not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
I second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.